Welcome back to another video. So, with the shakedown and preseason testing now wrapped up, this video was actually supposed to come out earlier, but oh well. There has been a lot of talk about many different things, but we don't need to get into that because in this video, we are just going to talk about the team liveries and comparing them to Tomo's version. And I'd like to know also if you agree down in the comment section below. It would also be great if those liveries could somehow be available in Assetto Corsa when a proper F1 2026 mod comes out. I'm talking about Tomo's liveries mainly, obviously. And one more thing that I would like to point out is that seeing those cars out on the track, just like in 2022 with those regulations, they look so much slower. Even the 2022 did not look this slow, not gonna lie. Not only are the lap times slower, but the mid-speed corners on the trackside view and on the onboard cameras really show how slow they are. Let's hope the teams catch up over time like they did in 2025. But at the end of the day, the main goal is to provide better racing. So technically, you don't need a car to be blisteringly quick to provide good racing. But anyways, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look too promising right now. But again, I could be wrong.
Actually, I take that back because after the preseason testing being done, the cars actually do look that they can get decently quick over time and even maybe come close or even surpass the cars in 2025. So, yeah, maybe it's promising after all. Who knows? Time will tell.
Anyways, without further ado, let's just begin with the first livery. And we will go in the same finishing order as it was in 2025, beginning with McLaren. Their livery during the shakedown was nice, but the final version is better. Obviously, they were never going to get rid of the papaya. I remember saying I liked the black one, although I wanted a bit more orange. Something a bit more subtle, like some pinstriping or something like that. But what we have right now is still a very nice livery, and the angles and the lines paying homage to the red and white McLaren era are very well done. Just like the Red Bull, it's iconic. Because of that, although I love it, it isn't perfect. So it gets a strong A tier for me. I'm not gonna lie, their special liveries are usually even better. A toned down version of those, or maybe, I don't know, a mix of elements, maybe could have made it perfect? I don't know. Now, what about Tomo's version? Honestly, it isn't terrible, but there were many ways it could have been better. First, I don't like the smooth lines. McLaren's more aggressive, sharp angles have really grown on me, and with this car model, the livery doesn't complement it nicely. It almost looks like some drawing mistakes. I like the fact that he added white, but it needed more angles and some structure, whatever that means. Now, he gave his reasons, but for me, it's a clear C tier. It's not awful, but it's not that good either. And also on top of that, there's a little too much black with the orange almost feeling forgotten. But anyways, that's that. Next up is Mercedes. Ever since they moved away from the proper silver arrow look, except for the black one in 2020, I haven't fully loved that direction. The 2020 black livery was bold, not particularly sexy to me, but bold. And it suited what became Hamilton's 7th championship. But ever since then, the amount of black just has not worked for me. And with this new one, although I see what they're doing with the side pods, seems okay, it's not that great. I would prefer more silver and less black. It's not terrible, like some recent versions, so I'd like to give it a decent B tier, just because it has too much black. I guess I have a problem with black now that I think about it. No, actually, I don't have a problem with that. I just have a problem with the bare carbon look. It looks sexy, in a time. There's a time and a place for that, but not here. Now, Tomo's version uses more color and some gradients, and because of that, the combination looks nicer to me. Still a lot of black, and still missing that true silver arrow identity. But overall, it's also B tier. Good for a one-off. Now we are on to the Red Bull. I loved the 2022 to 2025 livery, although it was slowly getting darker for some reason. They've basically been running the same design for like almost 10 years, but this one is a nice breath of fresh air, especially with the new partnership with Ford. I actually really like it. The bright blue looks great, and although the car design will probably evolve a lot over time, it looks fantastic. It's very, very close to perfect. In daylight and under the lights, it looks good in person, but if the blue was just so slightly lighter, so the camo style Red Bull logo thing was more visible, it would have been better. So because of that, it's A tier, but above McLaren, since this one feels more complete. Now, Tomo's version. Well, judging by the comment section on that video, it's just bad. Too much yellow, that distorted Red Bull circle looks off, and there's just too much going on. It feels like the car is trying too hard. It's not elegant at all. Sorry, Tomo, but that is an F tier. Now, after that, we have Ferrari with that HP sponsor. Last year, I really didn't like it. The Monza version, though, I gotta say, it seemed decent for a one-off, but still, for me, my favorite is the yellow and red combination in 2022. This one worked really well, in my opinion. Who knows if I'm the only one who loved that? I don't care. But this year, at first, I'm not gonna lie, I did not like it. I actually hated it because of the white. I still hate the HP logos in the rear wing, taking away from having the word Ferrari there. But I have to admit, for some reason, it has been slowly growing on me. Because in the pictures, it somehow just looked wrong, including the general design of the car. But seeing it on track, in the wet, the sun, and under the lights, it actually doesn't look half bad. Seriously, I would give it a pretty solid B tier. It was D before, so that is actually a pretty decent bump. Now just a quick look at the one from Tomo. Well, that one is just rough for me. He added more white, made the angles sharp. I don't want to talk more about this one. It's just D tier. I'm sorry, man. It's just not a good design. And I understand people were thinking, why can the halo just be white on the real one? I'm not gonna lie. If the halo cannot be red, just make it black. They could add hints of white, but not a white halo. It does not look good to me. But next up is the Williams. First, wow, what a season for them to finish in P5. Good for them. So close to the top. And I wonder, 2028 maybe? But anyway, this livery has a lot of different shades of blue. I love the color blue, but even this felt a little much. I cannot say that it's an ugly livery. I gotta say, I actually like it. The car looks fun and elegant. And with the Duracell on top on the intake, not bad. Not sure what they could do to make it better, to be completely honest with you, but this livery isn't crazy. Oh well. Strong B tier for you. I would have to put it behind the Ferrari though. Shocking, I know. Whoa, what? I say I like blue, but still behind the Ferrari. Because the Ferrari just grew on me that much. But about Tomo's version, now he did not make a strong departure from the angles that Williams used, but he did incorporate more white. Interesting choice. This time, the sharp angles are used in a better way than with the Ferrari. And I gotta say, for some reason, I find myself liking this more. There's more, I don't know, it's just more catching to the eye in a very strange way. I can't really put my nose on it. And for that, I have to give it an A tier. Still miles behind the Red Bull and the McLaren, but not bad at all. We definitely need this to be some like on a car modded, you know, in the Assetto Corsa or even in the F1 games. Really good livery. Before we continue, I would like to remind you, if you want to see more videos here or support this channel, or you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. It'll be very much appreciated. Thank you so much. And now we go to the next, the ones that finish outside of the top 5, the Racing Bulls, or V-Carb, whatever. The last year's car was great. S tier for them on that. But this year, this just feels a little messy. There is a lot going on, and barely anything works, in my opinion. First, the white missing on the nose, and that sharp angle spike thing that looks like someone is pulling a curtain. In some angles, the lines make even less sense. The thing is, the color palette isn't wrong, just the implementation is too aggressive for no reason. Because of that, I cannot give it any higher than a C tier. And even that feels too high at times. And even on track, the car is just not great to look at. From a distance, Seeing the white makes it somewhat bearable, but mainly due to the difficulty of seeing all the details. I don't know what they were thinking. Is that the lowest rating that we have so far? Anyways, what about Tomo's version? How did you do in comparison? I'm not gonna lie, the blue needs to be a smidge darker. Or more luxurious, either with a satin finish or just a little bit more glossy, I don't know. But the choice of colors and the lines implementation is much better. This is really strong and striking, and we don't need many colors to make a livery, just something classy that really invokes a brand image. And this card does just that. So close to perfection. But this may be because of the software limitation that he is using for the colors. But still, you got yourself an A tier right there. But I would still put it in last place of the A tiers though. But still, great job. Now, Aston Martin. Wow. What a situation for them. I already mentioned that the partnership with Honda is risky. And well, testing is done, and I don't need to elaborate on that. But what about the car? Besides the design, I always like the Aston Martin green. It's so good. And this livery obviously carries that. But what about the design? Well, straight to criticism. We are ripping the band-aid. First is the fluo green. Why so minimal? And all those strange cuts for the Aramco sponsor? Why? The livery is too simple and not in a good, elegant way. It's just a boring green billboard, and for that, straight to the top of C tier. Close to B tier, just because of the green, so it's kind of like a C+, but sadly, that green color that I love, it won't save you. So what about Tomo's take on it? When I looked at it instantly, there was more happening, and by this shift, I'm sure you see that I like this one a lot more. There is more of the fluid green, a better use of black. This livery invokes speed and some decent elegance. A small nitpick that I would say is to make the rear wing black because of the gradient going, it should be black. And I know that Aramco would probably like their colors with their logo, like the word of their logo, if it was on the rear wing. But whatever, it should still be majoritively a black rear wing. That would have been nice. Or maybe add a nice little fluo stripe, But this, at the end of the day, besides those little nitpicks, this is easily an A tier right there. Now, what about Haas? Ooh, Haas. Their liveries over the years were quite inoffensive, except for that Ural Cali one or whatever. That was weird. But this year, I mean, wow, they cooked. The partnership with Toyota, I hope it is a long-term one, because already they really have the best livery so far. This livery is racy and elegant, and the sponsors aren't insane, but well placed. And the car looks balanced. Pretty easy to see that I like this one. But I will have to put it in S tier. Bro, this livery is great and should be a base for them to work on for the next year and maybe some one-offs this year. So, can Tomo actually top that? Quick answer, no. His version incorporates the same colors, but the way he uses them is quite good as well. I'm not gonna lie. This could be a one-off or just a mod for the games for an alternative. It's basically a more elegant version of their rally livery. But anyway, with this one, although it cannot top the S tier, it can sit comfortably in A tier, but behind the Williams. I do sometimes wonder if I should put it ahead, but nah, it's a good A tier. Now, what about Audi? Not Sauber. They're gone. Before we would have 2 teams left, now we have 3 teams left. And first, Audi. Okay, we had some leaks, and people were wondering, is that the livery that they're gonna use? Turns out it was. At first, I was a bit confused, but at the same time, I could not hate it. I'm not a huge fan of the intakes being with that red or orange, whatever color it is. Not a huge fan of that, but still, the silver. This is classy. It's nice, it's simple, it's not trying too much. I mean, it's their first year at the end of the day. Next year, it's probably going to have a little bit more, character. But the way this looks actually in Barcelona, it kind of looked bad in a weird way. That orange just did not look great in some pictures. But when I see it in Bahrain, I was like, oh, wow, no, this is a good looking car. It's simple, it's classy, it's elegant. Wow. So because of that, I have to put it in B tier. It's a B tier car. It's not absolutely wonderful type of livery, and it's definitely not top tier. but it is a strong first showing. Good job, Audi. After that, the team that finished in last place last year, wow, and that is Alpine. Oh boy, Alpine. I mean, they switched to the Mercedes engine, and I'm not going to lie, in preseason testing, they seem to be somewhat competitive. So good on them. Honestly, good on them. But what about their livery? Oh, wait a second. I didn't even talk about Tomo's version of the Audi livery. My fault. Let's go back. So I'm not going to lie. Tomo's version, although it is white, if that was silver with that, because he added more angles and whatnot, it just looks good. Maybe the red, the red on this side pod, I would do differently on that. But overall, that's a very good livery. So where would I put it because of that? Unfortunately, because of the fact that it looks more white than silver, again, maybe it's software limitations. If it was that silver that Audi used, for sure, that will join the Audi. Now, it will be ahead of it by quite a lot, maybe the top of the B tier. I got to put it in C tier. It's just, I want that silver. Overall, still a solid livery. But yeah, Alpine. So Alpine's car, after I spoke about how they were, oof. I mean, look, I was not a fan of Alpine's car last year, and I'm still not a huge fan of their car right now. It looks boring. So Alpine is D tier. I'm not even gonna talk more about that. It's boring. We'll see how they do this year though. But their livery, yeah. You decided to become Baskin Robbins with BWT. It is what it is. Now, what about Tomo's version? Now, I'm not gonna lie, Tomo's version is actually a little bit more unique. I really do like it. It's a bit more like, how would you say, what's the word? Being confident. It's more confident, this livery, and more proud of the pink. So the pink is utilized in a very beautiful way. Maybe there's some slight tweaks that I would do on that, but this is a decent livery. I would put it in C tier. And then it's higher up in the C tier. It's a good car. It looks like a good car. And I can definitely see that racing and be like, yep, that's Alpine, and it looks pretty good. So that's actually a really good livery. Could it be a B tier? I don't know. But anyways, we've gotten to the final car. The final one. New team on the block. Cadillac. I was hoping more from their first livery, but I'm not surprised. I'm not too offended by how they did it. For a first time livery, just like the Audi one, very good choice. It's calm, it's collected, it doesn't want to stand out, and I hope it evolves over time, over the years. So that livery, the two-toneness, very nice. Under the lights, it looks very good. In the wet weather, probably it would look pretty good. In the sunshine, it kind of looks a bit boring. It's just black and white. But if it was silver or something, I don't know, with more character, that would be very good. That would definitely give it an amazing score. But for what it's worth, for a first time livery, it's mainly the design choice that they have going on with their few sponsors. It looks good. It's clean. You can tell with the giant Cadillac logo, like once, if you show this to the person once and say this is Cadillac, and then show it again just as a glimpse, they will know that this is Cadillac. It's nice. Needs more color, but it's nice. B tier. Good job. It's a bit further in the back in the B tier, so let's say B minus. Needs more color, but maybe with time. Who knows? Maybe they got something cooking for the US livery if they want to do a one-off for the USA's American race. Oh gosh. Anyways, now what about Tomo's? I don't hate it. I cannot say that I hate it, but I don't like it. He used the Cadillac colors that the Le Mans car used, and that's very good. I love that. It's a little bit too much in a weird way, but definitely this is something that could work. Maybe it lacks some detail in some areas, but it's definitely something that could work. But oh well. Besides that, C tier. Yep, I know. It's below. I say the Cadillac needs more color, but it needs more color to bump it up to A tier with that livery that they got going on. Tomo's livery, I wouldn't say it needs a less color. It just needs more elegance. We'll see. Because it looks kind of like a toy. So, C tier. But that is that. Here is my tier list. Tell me if you agree. If you disagree, please let me know. And maybe let me know where would you place what or whatever. Or just throw some insults. I don't know. Now that this video is over, I would like to remind you guys, if you watch till the end, thank you so much for that. And please share your thoughts in the comments. And also, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Let's talk it out. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.